Have you ever dreamt of owning your own bank? Well, if you have, stick around because today in the spotlight, Miss Michelle Grant is going to show you how to do just that. Welcome to another edition of Business in Motion, a program that focuses on business and entrepreneurship from an Afro-centered perspective, right here on WMEG online radio in Baltimore, Maryland, the number one station in the nation with the dissemination of valuable information with no hesitation or reservation, but an obligation and dedication to the elevation of your present situation. I'm your host, RGL Biz Coach, and by the end of today's show, you're going to have the 7 keys on how to walk away from a settlement table if you're selling your home with 8 to 12% more money where it needs to be in your pocket. Also, in the second part of this program, Business in Motion, we're going to be featuring in the spotlight Miss Michelle S. Grant, and she's going to be teaching you about insurance and how you can utilize insurance as an investment vehicle, but most of all, how you can use programs that are available today by major insurance companies to establish your own banking system. So stick around, you're going to enjoy it.
The all-new WMEG Radio.
And welcome back to Business in Motion, a program focusing on business and entrepreneurship from an Afro-centered perspective. I'm your host, RGL Biz Coach. And as I told you, coming back, we are now in the spotlight. And, I just want to say this before I bring on the guest for today. When I was young, I used to, to think of insurance. It seemed to be something that was just very boring. It was like something you just paid. You paid your money because, you're not going to be able to benefit from it. Maybe your relatives might because you don't get the money you pay, and then when you die, other people get the money. And lo and behold, a few years ago, I actually had thought about entering that business, and I went through and I took courses and I read all this information, and I just never went down to finish. But I learned so much, and I'm saying this is very, very complex. I mean, this thing has evolved. I'm telling you, and many people. My daughter is now. She's in it down in Atlanta area and all, but it has evolved so much, and I just feel like it is just essential to bring a person on who's seasoned, who understands a lot of these vehicles. And again, this person is someone I've been knowing for a bit, pretty much since I've been in the real estate business here up in this area. Very sharp person, and her name happens to be Michelle Grant. And I will ask right now, Michelle, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Lucas. This is Michelle Selena Grant.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to your show. And it's funny you would ask me to come on your show because September is what they deemed as Life Insurance Awareness Month.
Get out of here.
Yes,
wow.
It is.
So this
September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and usually in the month of September is the time that I really take out to speak to people in reference to life insurance and what it can do. Looking at people's policies to see what they have.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of lack of education when it comes to life insurance, and that's where my business. I try to teach financial literacy, and in that financial literacy, insurance plays the foundation of that.
Okay,
so,
before we even get into all that, first of all, I want the listeners to know who you are. Can you give a quick synopsis of you?
Okay. Well, Michelle, my name is Michelle Selena Grant. I was born in Washington, D.C., but basically raised in Prince George's County. My career for 30-something years, I worked as a realtor. And back in, I would say, when the real estate market kind of did its dip back in 2008. I started looking into the insurance industry, and when I started learning about the financial industry and insurance industry, I was just mesmerized by it. And when I learned all the things to do and how it can help our communities, that's when I really kind of started taking it to, a different level, and, learning every part of insurance that I could learn about since then.
Okay, got you. Very
So
good.
I'm a mother of two.
Okay.
I have 2 young men and 1 grandson. So
Very good. And so you presently residing in the D.C. or in the Prince George County still?
yes. I do real estate in DMV and Maryland area, but as far as insurance, I'm licensed in several states across the country.
And I guess that's one thing that's kind of different with insurance is you can have that license and conduct business in a lot of different states, whereas in real estate it would be, kind of difficult to do that. Just simply because real estate, you need to be there. You need to be there at the location to be able to give true and real representation. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And see, because the real estate laws are different in each state.
You're right.
That's why you have to take the law part. But in the insurance is basically universal. Each state may have their own different plans, so it's just a matter of paying the fees for different states. And some states require you to be fingerprinted, right? So in Florida you have to be fingerprinted, and so I'm licensed in Florida also. But yes. New York is one of those, it's harder to get licensed in New York. It's a little bit one of those states that a little bit more difficult. So, but yes, it's very easy to be licensed all over the country.
Okay, so now if a person, let's say a listener wants to get into the actual business of insurance, could you kind of walk us through that? What it takes to, engage and to get a license and to actually be able to sell, policies?
Well, yes. Well, with what we do with people who want to come into the business, you have to. There's several different schools out here. We have one with our particular company. People can join with us and sign up, and it's a course that you can take online. Take it at your leisure. They have a lot of different modules, and once you complete the course, then you can sign up with whatever state that you're in to take the exam. And it's just as simple as that.
Okay.
I mean, you can do it as quick. We've had people do it in a week's time.
Wow.
And we have people that took them a year. So it's at your pace.
Okay, so what's the cost? What does one typically have to pay?
Oh, well, it can cost anywhere from $99 to free.
Wow.
So if you sign up with a particular company like we do, it can be free or as low as $19.95.
So it's a very low,
and you can get your license.
Okay, so a low barrier to entry. Now, typically when you have, a business where the barrier to entry is very, very low, you've got lots and lots of people who enter for that particular reason. Would you say that your competition is stiff?
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of transition in the insurance business. And only because, like you said, the interest free is so low. But the thing is with this business, the interest free, people don't take it as seriously as they should.
Gotcha.
If you look up what most millionaires, a lot of millionaires, the highest paid is in the financial industry.
Right.
Okay, highest paid millionaires. But because the entry level sometimes is so minimal, people don't take it as seriously as they should.
Okay, got you. So, okay, in working, let's kind of compare and contrast. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the real estate, and like you say, you've been an agent for 30 years, and you've been in insurance. What would you say requires more time and attention? Would it be the real estate or is it the insurance business?
Well, there's different parts of real estate, right?
Sure,
You've got
absolutely.
general brokerage, then you have the investment piece of it, then you have commercial, right? And it's almost the same with insurance. It depends on what kind of entry you want to get in. So when you talk about life insurance, then you have health insurance, you have property casualty insurance, right? So there's different entities, and I would say let me tell you what the difference is mainly for me as a person who's done both.
Okay.
The thing with real estate is when you finish a deal, you've got to go to the next deal.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're basically unemployed again. Where with insurance, you can help a family, and even though the money is low, but you're working in numbers, and you could build a residual or passive income with insurance. So you can do the work today and have money coming in next year and the year after and the year after.
That's good.
Where you don't have that luxury with real estate.
You definitely don't have it as a real estate agent. Now, you know, if you go get into the investment side of it, you can build those type of vehicles, you know what I'm saying, through property ownership and everything. But no, you're 100% correct there. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I know, like, say, I had a partner, you know, going back to, I think it was around 2009, you know, we went into that major collapse and you couldn't make anything in real estate. I mean, like, it was, I never want to see those days again. Never, ever want to see those days because it was rough. It was rough. I'm telling you, people were losing homes and staying in tents, and, you know, tent cities were popping up all over the nation. But anyway, during that time, I asked myself, am I doing the right thing? And maybe I should diversify. Maybe I should, diversify my business, and had gotten into a business with a gentleman who happened to be from Brazil. And, you know, we did some things. Didn't work out. He kind of left, went back to Brazil, found a wife, and you know, got married and kind of left. And I had to liquidate. I liquidated everything. But what he did, he got into, he was a very serious salesperson. He's one of the best salespersons I've ever come across. I'll give him that credit. And, you know, we were talking one of my last times, and he was like, look, you know, I've got to find something that I can do. And he got introduced to the insurance. And I said to him, I said, look, the way you can sell, you get into this business, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay? And what he did, he got into it. He became an agent with New York Life. And with New York Life, I remember him calling me over. He had come to town, and he showed me a check for $1 million that one of his clients had written to get an annuity, in which we'll get into the annuities later in the second half of the show. But I'm just speaking now about the business side of it and everything. And, you know, he told me that out of that, he was going to be paid, I think it was $78,000 from that $1 million check. And one big advantage that was to the person who got that annuity was, with $1 million, immediately they got an extra $100,000 added onto it. So their million became $1,100,000 immediately. And he got paid that $78,000. And then he found later that he was getting residuals on it. Could you speak about that a little bit, or what you know?
Well, annuities are a great vehicle, especially when people have 401ks and they want to transfer, because you have an annuity is what you could call secured money, and a 401k is unsecured money, right? Because it's in the market,
right?
And so when you transfer a person that they're coming out of retirement, or, you know, when they get closer to those years of retirement where they don't have time to recover if the market dips, that's a good time to put some of your money into an annuity. And so when you put in money in an annuity, they pay big commissions on annuities. Depending on the carrier that you're using, some of them do give you a bonus up front when you put the money in. And some of them, and a lot of annuities, if they choose the lifetime income option, even when the money runs out, it will still pay them an income if they happen to live long, right? So they would never run out of money. So that's the advantage to the client, and the advantage to the agent. You've helped the client put their money from unsecured money into a secured vehicle, and be able to, so that they can guarantee that they have money throughout their retirement years. So that's where annuities come into great play.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's beneficial to both. It's beneficial to the agent who sold that policy, and you're saying it's very beneficial to the consumer who bought the policy.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's a win-win. I call a win-win scenario. That's what we need more of.
Yes.
And
Yes.
wow, okay, that's good. This sounding good. So, any you listeners out there and you trying to figure out what business you might want to go into, low barrier to entry, high pay if you're selling the right thing, and you can build a residual income coming in. All that sounds good. All right.
Oh, yes. I'm going to tell you something, Ronnie. If I knew about this industry when I was 20,
Yes.
and I had the choice between real estate, I would pick the insurance, the financial industry.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Wow, that's good to know. Well, like I say, I can understand that. I can understand it. I would have given it a more of a look if I'd have known more about it when I was early. My older brother was actually, he did some insurance for a little bit. He sold for a company called North Carolina Mutual. And at that time, I think North Carolina Mutual was the largest African-American owned company that was in America. And, he did some selling. He did, and I guess, ended up it wasn't really his thing. But, he did it. And I think he was doing okay. It was just some of the things that he had to do, he wasn't satisfied with and decided to transition, out of that. But, yeah.
Well, the thing is, Ronnie, now is so good in this industry because of COVID.
Yes.
We do business differently, right?
Right.
Where people weren't so, they didn't want to do a meet with you on the Zoom, right?
Right.
Before COVID. We had Zoom before COVID, but it's traditionally you would have to meet with someone, at their home and things like that. Now it's become where it's the norm. And so that's why as an agent, you can be able to help anyone in no matter any part of the country, right? So
yeah.
Because of Zoom. Because of the way the industry is now, so you're not just limited now to your local where you live in this business. You can reach out to people all over the country and assist them.
Okay.
All you need to be is licensed in that particular country. So the opportunity is even bigger now than it was 20 years ago.
But now, talk to me about how you actually acquire leads, and the reason I'm saying that is because during my study, as I mentioned, I studied. I just never went and took the examination, right? But there were some things in there that I'm like, wow, you can't do this, but it seemed that you just can't go out and just advertise and, do some things that maybe you can do in real estate.
Well,
can you speak to that?
Let me say this to you. In insurance, you can now, and I don't know if you watch things on Instagram, there are people starting to really do a grassroots type of thing on social media.
Okay.
I'm old school, and I'm just getting into it now.
Okay.
But I can tell you, people on my team, I have people that work with me on that team, and they're telling me they are being DM'd with hundreds sometimes. 100, maybe 70 people wanting to know more about this industry on a daily basis.
On a daily basis?
From social media, on a daily basis.
Oh, my God.
One of my agents on my team, he has a calendar. And you say, okay, do you want to get on my calendar? And they are getting back with him. His calendar is booked up for the next 3 weeks.
For the next 3 weeks.
So there's so much opportunity, and be quite frank with you, I'm getting into that part of it. Now, organically, my business has been through referrals, through my real estate business.
Right. Okay, so
because of my real estate business, and I also do Medicare, dealing with the elderly and people in retirement. So, and now that industry is very regulated. So there's a lot of things that you can do in life insurance that you can't do in the Medicare field, right?
In terms of generating leads,
you got to treat it totally different.
In terms of generating leads, or just the way that you got to execute.
Medicare, see, I can give you my business card, or you can give me your number and I can call you.
Okay.
With Medicare, no, I have to give you my business card and wait for you to call me. I can't just get your number and call you. right? So that's why you have to be very careful. You know, Medicare has a whole other set of rules and regulations. Yeah, and there's certifications that you have to pass and take every year. You know, when you get your real estate, your insurance license, you know, you go get your continuing ed every 2 years. Medicare, you get certified every single year.
Every year.
Every year.
I mean, like, what does it take to become certified?
A series of tests. And you have a national test, which they call it the AHIP certification.
Right.
So once you do that, but then each carrier, so if you want to work for United Healthcare,
right,
you got to go through their certifications. If you want to work with Aetna, you have to go through their certifications. If you want to work with Humana, you go through their certifications. Right? So
right,
with each carrier that you want to represent, you still have another set of certifications that you must pass. And this is how strict they are.
Mm-hmm.
With each carrier, if you fail it 6 times, you got to wait till next year.
Wow. Oh, my God. Yeah. So I see that. Very regulated.
So it's heavily regulated. But I'm going to tell you something. It's rewarding because Medicare is something that, you know, there's so many different plans and there's so much confusion that, you know, so when you're able to really help someone and guide them in those, you know, in their years to make sure that they make the right plans, because you're talking about their health now, right? So, and making sure that they have the best plan that they have for their money, you know. So it's rewarding because we also help people that aren't necessarily, they may have Medicare and Medicaid, and they're underserved. So, you know, we have a kind of grassroots type of campaign of getting out there, talking to people to help them navigate through those waters, to help them get the best care and the best plan for them.
Very good, very good. So now let me ask you this, okay? Like when you're working, when you're an agent, insurance agent, are you automatically a broker? Are you an insurance broker, or is that another license that you have to acquire?
No. The way, when you become an insurance agent, you have to get with a company.
Okay.
And they call it IMO, which is called an independent marketing organization, or a FMO, which is a field marketing organization.
Okay.
So you can't just, as an agent, once you get your license, you can't just go, okay, I'm going to go, you know, unless you want to work with that company exclusively. But if you want to work with several different companies, you need to get with a company that has like several different carriers under them. Right? So it's kind of like in real estate, you have a broker, right? So the IMO is considered the broker or the FMO. And you hook up with that particular company, and through that company, then you get appointed to the different carriers.
Now, got you. Just on that now, if you were under, what do you say it again, the IMO?
Yeah, it's called an independent marketing organization.
Okay. Now, does that allow you to go and set up your own office?
Does that allow you to what?
To set up, like if you want to
work
in your own office.
Oh, yeah. If I wanted to set up an office, for myself, I can. I mean, I can. I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
I'm under an organization, but I also have my own LLC that is registered with the insurance, the state of Maryland, and also registered through the what they call the insurance. We have to get another NPR. It's also registered there, but it's under my organization. So my company is Abundant Life Solutions, and under that. So I can set up my agency within that agency. Yes.
And you can hire people to work.
You can do that, and you can start from the beginning.
Okay, so now once you're under that IMO, still you can set up your own, like yours. You have your own entity. You can set up your own office, brick and mortar. Is what I'm speaking of, having a brick and mortar location. And you have the right to be able to recruit other agents who would work for you or under you? Or is that no?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
okay.
You do. Yes, you do. Yep, exactly. In the insurance industry, you allow to, and different IMOs have different starting rates.
Yes.
But with that, it allows you to be able to build a team. As a matter of fact, they encourage you to, to build your team within that agency, because we're here to try to service everyone. And then it's in my benefit to help that agent, because I'm also getting override, but I want them to be competent also. So we all kind of work together as a team,
right,
to help one another, because there is a financial incentive too.
Makes sense. And what I want to do right now is I just want to give, before we go on breaks, we have to take our break. But I want you to give the listeners your contact information. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Well, I am on Instagram at Abundant Life Solution, and also as Miss Michelle Salina, Salena.
Yes.
You can reach me on Instagram. And my actual number that you can call me straight is 301-675-7933. And my website is abundantlifesolution.com.
That sounds good. And I'll tell you what, listeners, just wait just a few minutes here. We're getting ready to take our last break of the day. And here, what do we got? What I got lined up? You're going to be checking out something that's relatively new. It's kind of going out of season, but this is by Dave Koz, and it's entitled Summertime in New York City. And this is featuring Brian McKnight. But just check it out. We'll be back, and we're going to finish having our discussion with Miss Michelle Grant. See you as soon as we get back. Ciao, ciao.